Hey, Mama's Den fam. We hope that you're enjoying the episodes we put out week after week, and we love getting together to record. And so hopefully you also get something out of the conversations. This week is a little different. We actually recorded this episode last year at our old studio, so it looks different if you're watching us on YouTube, but as long as you're listening, the energy and fun will be the same because we are talking plastic surgery, we are talking being pregnant, and we're talking about them doctors, okay? Plus, Tommy makes a little appearance.
And he is answering some questions that have been heavy on my mind.
What was those questions?
You're going to have to wait and find out. Listen up, watch wherever you are, and stick around and find out. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a little message, right? Review, give us some stars on Apple Podcasts. We like all of that.
Stars.
It really helps the show.
That's right, Mama's Den Village. Let us know how you feel about plastic surgery. Do you have a story about pregnancy or recovery that you want to share with us? Get in on the conversation and let us know over at podcasts.
With an S.
At blacklove.com. Plus, you can always submit a DM, slide up in DMs on Instagram at the Mama's Den Podcast.
What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
I'm Fee.
It's Melanie.
And Codie here. And you've tapped into
The Mama's Den.
I was like, how you play basketball with all that ass?
She didn't have all this
No.
ass in basketball.
No.
No. And that's the thing is that she was an athlete, so she probably already had
She
muscles.
said a
She probably
dude
already
convinced
had
her
a
to
boob.
get it.
No, see, now we got to talk about a bigger issue there.
Yeah.
No, right.
While I know that we are recording, we won't talk shit about people's plastic surgery in an episode. So you can just cut that part right out.
Why?
You want to?
No.
Name names?
No, I don't think we need to name names, but I think
It is
I don't
important to talk about
I
image.
think we're bringing awareness.
the colossal booty. I will talk about all day. That's absurd.
It is.
It's absurd.
And we
Do
should
what you
tell
gotta do for
young
yourself,
girls not to do that.
But what this is not me defending. I'm just
Okay.
curious. I feel like people probably do what they see, either like where they grew up, like, oh, everybody had a big booty, or maybe what they end up seeing on TV or whatever. But like, because I agree, I don't understand the mentality of like, why would you want something so not proportional?
She said that. Because
Yes.
this is on an air TV
Right.
show that
This
she
was on
willingly
TV,
said,
right.
signed a waiver, so it's not like we're talking about her.
Okay.
She said this
We're talking about
herself.
Basketball Wives.
On Basketball Wives,
Yeah.
the girl Mulan, she said, I was looking at Instagram because the doctor was like, why would you do that to yourself? What made you do that? She said, my relationship and Instagram. And she was like, I regret it. I have sisters. I would never
That's so
tell them to
sad.
do that. It is.
know.
And I think she said she already got her breasts reduced, but then she wanted to do her butt. And in that episode, there was another girl in there who's married, and she said the same thing. She got butt shots or something. She got hers reduced and she got her breasts reduced.
Baby, let me tell you, this is Miami.
No, LA.
No, Orlando.
Oh,
Florida.
yeah.
Florida.
Let me
Shout
tell
out
you
to
something.
Shawnee O'Neal
When
for
I-
the franchise.
When
Carry
I
on.
went to
Checks forever.
Miami, was it the end of last year, last summer? I don't even remember.
Melanie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Commit in one direction or the other. We'll talk about our illnesses.
talk about our illnesses.
I'm gonna talk with it hanging
Girl,
on my
just
face.
hang it up.
Like with your mic, your headphones on halfway.
No, for real. When I was in Miami, I literally realized the culture down there is wild. Like, I mean, the woman who was cleaning the rooms at the hotel has a BBL.
Oh, wow.
I bet
Yes.
it was probably nice.
So it is
too.
not what's the word? My brain is foggy.
It's not uncommon?
It's not uncommon. It's not a class thing.
Oh,
You know what I
got
mean?
it,
Like
got it,
it's
got it.
access. It's
Yeah.
available to everyone.
that.
Yeah.
Whether it's safe, whether it's good,
That's
whether
true.
it's available to you. So
Yeah.
it's not even. And I'm like, who are these doctors that are taking women and saying,
Girl.
yes, let's mutilate your body with all the risks, knowing that you can't reverse this without deformity, and let me give you a colossal sized booty, and then let me take your money and just be on your way.
That's the part I don't like. I'm like, now y'all know you could have said no.
You
to
could have
these
said
people.
no.
Yeah.
Tell this
Where is
woman,
your
hey,
integrity?
here's an option. Here's where I'm willing to go with you. If you'd like to do that, this is beyond the scope of what I'm comfortable doing as a professional. Like,
Yeah.
because you're going to regret this in a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, sorry, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay.
The devil don't need no
And in the words of
advocate, honey.
Ashley, the devil don't need no
I mean, I'm
advocate.
just saying though, is it the doctor's responsibility? Like when things that are unhealthy, that's one thing. But if somebody wants a big old butt,
Yes.
and they say I want it bigger and bigger and bigger,
Yes. If God gave you the power, I'm going to take spiritual now for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
If God gave you the power and the ability to heal or to be able to create in that way, I feel like there's a responsibility. Like, everybody can't be a doctor and be a plastic surgeon. You have to have a talented mind and to be able to see and do that. It's like, that's a great gift. So yes, I feel like as a doctor, when you're cutting somebody open, like you said, integrity, like why would you not say, hey, I'm not doing this because it's unsafe. Do you guys ever watch Botched?
Yes.
And
That
what do they
show is
say to them? They're like,
crazy.
I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I'm not giving you
But
breasts
all
that
I'm
big.
saying
I'm
is
like that.
everyone's
would hurt
not
you.
that
Yes, but they should
spiritual.
be.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't have integrity.
No.
Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Like
the
at the end of the
facts.
day.
That's the problem.
But that's real.
Yeah.
But that is the problem.
Yeah.
Because look at that. That's just medical like industry, period. That a lot of doctors don't have integrity when they're dealing with you having a baby, postpartum.
I won't say the whole medical
No,
industry.
oh, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. Edit.
Not the Brooks Family
Some
Practice Clinic, but
doctors-
carry on.
Oh, I forgot you were coming from a line of doctors.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't treat me. And the ones that I got treated with did not have integrity. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like also, you know what I think about when I was having my baby? I never even told you guys this.
Which one?
When I know.
Oh
Which
my
one? Because
God.
Ashley has
I know.
many.
It's just disrespectful, actually.
Damn.
When I was having Tata,
Uh-huh.
and I was in so much pain because they had to give me Pitocin. And I was about to, I told the doctor, like, when I feel like this, I'm definitely at 10 centimeters. And she was like, no, you're about to have the baby. Every time you get to this point where you feel like you're going to like pull your head off, the baby's coming. And they were like, no, we just gave you the Pitocin. And she was like, no, she is about to have this baby. I'm telling you, just checking her. Like, we just gave it to her 10 minutes ago. He was like, she reacts to it quickly. She can go
Right.
from 1
Number 4
to 10.
Yeah.
Like, I know my wife's body. And I was out of my mind. At that point, I was like, no longer here. And I was like, give me something. Give me something. Do you know the doctor gave me fentanyl?
No, wait, pause. This is what I was going to follow up after this. An epidural, apparently, is fentanyl.
Now this is a longer.
Please,
I'm about to Google.
Can we Google this? Because
just-
somebody I saw this
Google
yesterday, the fact that you brought this up.
Right.
And I was like, I need to check this because I saw a podcast of people
Yes.
talking about it. That's pretty much what an
Oh, I
epidural
don't know
is.
what an epidural
Wait, pretty
is.
much, or it is?
It's
What
the
is that?
NI.
Sorry.
This is the NIH, so
Oh,
the National
WebMD.
Institute of Health, the government website. Fentanyl is an opioid analgesic used to treat obstetrical pain. Lord Jesus, these are big words. Basically, it says in parturient women. I don't know what that means. Through epidural. Okay, so
Girl, that
it
was
says
not informative,
unfortunately.
'cause I don't know what you just
No,
said.
it says it is an opioid used to treat women through an epidural.
So
And you just said that you
I
had
did
this.
not get an epidural, but they said some of the pain management options other than epidural is fentanyl. Here's the problem. You cannot give fentanyl to a woman who is in labor after a certain point because it will affect the baby.
Yes.
So after, I think it's like not safe after 8 centimeters, she never checked me. And I was like screaming at the top of my lungs, like I cannot, and
You were
Chia-
in pain screaming?
Yes, I was not here anymore.
yeah,
And Chia was
forever.
like, please check her. Do you know that they came in, gave me fentanyl, 5 seconds later, after they gave it to me, the doctor checked me and I was 10 centimeters and they were like, it's
hell.
time to push. And do you know when Tata came out, she was not crying and she was quiet as hell. I think she was high. Yeah. And that's why they're not supposed to give it to you because after a certain amount of centimeters, it goes into the baby's bloodstream. And Chia was pissed because he was like, you should have checked her first. She was in pain. Like, why are you not why are you listening to her? Because you should listen to a woman. But he was like, at the point where you saw that she was, because mind you, they gave me Pitocin and then they told me that she flipped. So they made me lay on my side with a pillow in between my legs to make her turn back around. So that was like a whole nother level of pain because she's turning inside of me as I'm dilating and I'm on the Pitocin, which intensifies but the thing is like, that's what I'm saying, like integrity, like you're not supposed to give any woman anything in labor without checking them first to see if it's safe. Like, and I don't even remember this happening in that order, but Chia was like, no, she never checked you. So that's what I'm talking about, integrity.
Yes,
because it's
I
like,
completely agree
they
with
just
you.
do whatever sometimes.
I think the reality is, though, we know that some doctors, that people, period, that human beings, many of them and us lack integrity.
Yeah.
And so it requires that we are as informed as possible when going into any sort of procedure,
For
whether
sure.
it's labor, which a lot of our listeners are mamas, or whether it's plastic surgery, which is where this conversation started.
Yeah.
And so I just want to be clear in that way, because the reality is like there are lots of doctors that you can trust.
Yeah.
But you have to get to that space of researching them, of researching your process, of building that trust.
Yeah.
But that it is important. Everything that you said is important, and that we have to learn as much as we can going into it so that we can advocate for ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like that's also why a lot of people go out of the country to get those like more extreme procedures because, I mean, for multiple different reasons. But I feel like yeah, I'm like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, because
I'm like,
they'll
without saying
just
They can do
it.
more without asking questions.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's more of like a money thing.
Oh, it's
and,
definitely a
you
money
know,
thing.
so it's like,
But also,
Yeah.
like, I've heard some crazy ass stories of people who have gone to get body work done outside of the country,
girl, me too.
and they end up in like places that feel like the cartel is running it.
yeah.
And the pain meds that they are given are those which feel like a mixture cocktail of fentanyl and some other shit. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Shits are fine.
Shits are fine.
I think.
Shit, fine.
You know, and literally, and then you're out of the country with a language barrier, and you're in this place with
Yeah.
all these other women
I
that are
mean,
recovering. It feels a little
we have
crazy.
a responsibility to take care of our damn selves if we're going to do all that to like make sure
It's so
we have
scary.
someone with us.
It's
But I will
terrifying.
say there's a website called realself.com, and I can't remember if it's only plastic surgeons or if it's like all doctors everywhere, but it's like intensely rated. So there's and they have videos and they have written reviews talking about like,
Oh, that's
you know, I
fire.
went to this country or I went to this state
Oh,
to
smart.
do this particular procedure, and like this is what it costs, and this is what it cost when I had complications, and this is what it cost when I
Yes.
had to have my mom fly down for a couple
Wow.
days.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And then there's also you're talking to these people, not me, but it's videos. You're hearing from these people like 6 months, 9 months, a year later.
Yeah.
So they're also like, and it was worth it because XYZ, or it wasn't worth it and I should have just done it in my hometown or
Got
whatever.
it.
So I will say again, I want to just go back to the research aspect because everything that we're saying has truth,
Yeah.
but the reality is like people gonna keep doing the things.
Oh,
This is the thing,
absolutely.
is like we have to really just
So
identify
equip
where it
yourselves.
begins.
Yeah.
Like, what is the purpose of what it is that you're doing this for? Why are you seeking this change? What is it? And I think that like that's really like where it should start. And again, to Codie's point, it's really about like the education and the research and the information going into anything.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are just like, oh, everyone's going to Turkey to get a nose job because it's cheap and the results are fire. Let me book a trip to Turkey because Instagram showed me 10 girls that it worked out great for.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just so many factors to consider. And I think we just live in a time right now where accessibility is information is accessible, anything is accessible.
Yeah.
You can
Good or
find-
bad, true or not.
bad, true or not.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can just, and then people are just willing to just risk it all to try.
Because people want to hear what they want to hear. They
Girl,
want to see
yeah.
what they want to see.
But you're in such a like when I got my mommy makeover, I'm like, you are in such a vulnerable state. Like I couldn't imagine being in another country and like you said,
Yeah.
it's like it feels like the cartel is running it. It's like, girl, you are so
I couldn't be in
vulnerable.
another city.
Like, oh no. And then I was thinking
Oh,
about,
no.
I'm like, okay, so if you really break down the whole cost part, right? So if I have to fly my mom here, then I have to fly, you know, it's just, there's so many things. I'm like, girl, it adds up to like almost the same. And for the comfort of my own home, no, too vulnerable.
Yeah.
No.
You don't
Hell
regret
no.
yours, right?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Nope, did that right here in Beverly Hills. Nope.
Hello.
I'm happy with every penny spent.
But that's good though.
But that's an
Yeah.
investment in the
Yeah.
in the restoration and reparative nature of your body.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the longevity of our lives
Yeah.
here. Like women are out
and the
here
quality
and
of
the
our
quality
lives.
of our
'Cause
lives.
We're
We
not
got
trying to be
kids.
miserable.
Girl, think about all of our grandmothers and our mothers who walking around with back pain and breasts that are too oversized
And
and
don't
big,
know why
and
to
don't
this
know
day.
why that they feel so uncomfortable in their
Yeah.
bodies at 60 or 70 because they've been living with disrupted core, you know, just bad support, no internal strength and rehabilitation. And these are the things that I think I'm grateful for in this time that we had the education
Yeah.
about.
Yes.
Because like, you know, our moms are just like, oh, we just thought that's just what happens. It's
Yeah.
like, you didn't realize you had to be proactive. You didn't realize somebody had to come to you and say, hey, you might want to consider you need physical therapy after you have a baby.
Yeah.
Where are these things that
Yeah.
like should be provided to us? We share stuff in the chat all the time, you know, in different countries. Women who have postpartum care
Girl.
through their medical system that they've got a full doula preparing the
Yeah.
meals. They're getting physical therapy. They have lactation consultants. They're in a facility that's not
Yeah.
home with just them and the baby
Yeah.
in order to transition into motherhood.
For sure.
There is huge gaps in the way that women need to be supported, not just physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean,
also,
go ahead.
well, this is quick, but there's also like in different cultures how they handle it, right?
Yeah,
I
that's what I
have
was
a
about
good
to
friend
say.
who's Indian and she lives in Texas, so
and her mom literally massaged her belly
Listen.
for, I want to say days. I can't remember how long it was.
So good.
Because I want to say weeks, but I'm pretty sure it was just like maybe days over a
Yes.
week period or something. But she massaged her belly after all 3 of her pregnancies.
Yes, well, that's what I was literally about to say, that the first time, not the first time. So I grew up, y'all know, like in this little African community. And so a lot of the women did a lot of research into like getting back connected to our African roots and how we do everything, eat and medical care and all of that. So we've been drinking ginger shots and celery juice since I was like born.
Same.
And wrapping women's bellies. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't a foreign thing to me seeing women have babies, and my mom and all this, we used to call them sisters, sister so-and-so or sister so-and-so would make soup and juices, all this healthy stuff, and bring it to the woman that had a baby, and they would wrap her belly and
Yes.
burn incense and do all of that. But the other part was when I was pregnant with Mira, and Chia's sister and one of his cousins, we all had babies around the same time. His family is Cambodian. And every time someone would have a baby, all of the aunts and everybody would come to their house. Everybody had like upstairs, downstairs. It's like very typical in Ohio. They were like, no, the women, they would set up a whole, even if they didn't have an extra bedroom downstairs, in the living room, they would bring a mattress down there. The women were not allowed to go up and down the stairs. Their only job was to feed the babies. They would just be laid out in the middle of the living room, comfortable, feeding their baby. Their moms would be there. The aunts would be there, feeding them, wrapping their stomach, rubbing them, massaging them. And I was like, oh my God, America's the ghetto. Like, I was like, that did not, like, my mom helped me a lot when I had Amira, but I just realized when I had her, like, how different it was when his cousins had babies, and how, like, we just don't take care of one another in our country, in our culture. And we're disconnected, because in Africa it's different. In Asia it's different. But in America, our whole medical care system is just like not done the way it, like, we're so disconnected from our roots and how we do things.
And it's not covered by insurance.
Yeah.
Like postpartum doulas. And I also did with Kaya, I did a Bengkung belly wrap, and I had a woman who came to the house for a week, and it was expensive.
Of course.
But she came and she would massage my belly, and she would wrap me tight, and like, but I had to, because I knew I was going to be coming off of my diastasis from Cameron.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I had to have I still have never shared my story with Kaya. I have to do that. But when I was having my C-section with Kaya, I had a Black OBGYN, God bless her. I love her. She was the best. I planned to have a VBAC. When I had to pivot and have a C-section, she was still the right decision for me. So I love her.
You took your time picking her.
Oh,
too.
you
were like
I
really good with
interviewed
that.
4 different
remember.
doctors. Yeah,
You're
I
like,
did.
you find a doctor yet? You find a doctor
Yeah,
yet?
I found her, and I found her late. Like, and she was wonderful. But while she was operating on me to get Kaya, she looked right at me and she goes, "Baby," she said, "you're gonna need to get this repaired." She says, "You're busted deep and wide," and she's like, "As soon as you get on the other side of this, you need to get this repaired." And she told me this on the table, but like I was like, okay,
You're
I
like,
loved,
right,
I
right.
loved her, but I knew
Yeah.
it. She told me that before going into it. And when she opened me up, she saw me and she's like,
Can
"It's
they do it at the same time, or is that not a thing?
It's not advised.
Okay.
It's not advised to repair the diastasis and do a tummy tuck right after you have the babies. I think
Well, your uterus is also swollen.
Oh, right.
it's
Okay.
swollen, and yes, I have heard stories. I have heard
Yeah,
stories
that's how I thought people did that.
where
People
it has
doing
been
it?
done. I have heard stories
In
that
America?
it has
I've heard it.
in
I've heard
America.
stories of it too, and I'm like, how?
That's not because a doctor ain't got no damn integrity. Because if you're really invested in the health and the wellness of a woman, you would never suggest for her to do that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't even pick up your kid.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy. But
It's a lot. It's a lot of recovering.
a
at
lot.
once.
So I don't even know where I was going with that. So I knew my rehabilitation had to be different this time. And so I did go with the wrapping and the massaging, and it did the best that it could do, but it didn't do everything.
Yeah.
And there's still more work to be done, and I'm going to have to make some decisions for that. And that's fine. Like, I know that, again, to the point of my wellness and my well-being for the rest of my life, this is what I'm focused
Physical
on.
and mental.
Physical and mental. Like it just is. And so like I would advise every woman from a wellness standpoint, ask your body what you need and ask yourself what you want for your body as you live in this life. Because I will honestly say, I believe that when it's just solely based off of cosmetic, you're chasing something that is not, it's inevitable. We're all going to get old. Our bodies are all going to change. It is what it is. So that's one thing. But when you're talking about the sustainability of your body in your older age, that's something worth considering.
I'm so happy I did that surgery. I'm like, I don't even think I realized how much it was affecting me. Like I knew my back was always in pain.
Yes.
And everything just felt so difficult. But I did the yoga, I did the Pilates, I did all the
Yes,
things. And
you
I'm
did.
like, it's still.
You ran to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm like, I ran to
Vegas.
I'm like, I did everything. And I was like, yeah, no.
That's
like
hilarious.
I need to get
I remember when we
game
spoke to
changer.
you right after, you were like, girl, I feel like somebody put a zipper inside of me from my crotch up to my breast and
Yeah,
just set me up.
girl.
And I was
the
like,
best.
You don't realize. You just don't realize how.
I really can't wait for the video version of Felicia's face right now.
The best.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced
I
it was the
recommend
best.
10 out of 10.
It was the best.
I'm like, but I'm happy that when I did go and get the surgery, it was from the perspective of I'm doing this for sustainability.
Yes.
I'm doing this so that my back is not hurting. It's only going to get worse,
Girl.
you know, but ooh.
But wait, I want to go backwards just a little bit, even to Melanie, you talking about getting wrapped and all that stuff, and thinking about cosmetic surgery from the standpoint of greater health, wellness, mental, physical, but also thinking about so I'm combining things, right? What you were saying, Ashley, about, what people do in certain villages and different cultures. Like the reality is I want us mamas, the aunties, everybody to be thinking about how can I set myself up for success? And even if success still means you have to have a surgery or whatever, but like having a postpartum doula, having somebody come wrap you, like thinking about these things not as luxuries, but I know what I was going to say too. And also not looking at it as like, well, my mom and them didn't need that.
Right.
They didn't do that. And your mama gonna tell you that too. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That looks fancy.
That's bougie.
And that's why I'm saying.
And so throwing out all of the other ideas that came from elsewhere and thinking about like, what can I do for me? If it's 40 days of not going nowhere, isn't that what Brandy did?
Yeah, Brandy did the 40-day thing.
Like not leaving her house. If you want to come see the baby, did she even have visitors?
I don't think so. And then she was like off social media and everything. She was like
just
focusing.
I love that.
After childbirth, taking 40 days to just like bond and rest and recover. And we are not doing these things.
We do have to like obviously acknowledge like socioeconomic issues
For sure.
and how people don't always have access to that. But
For sure.
what I have been talking to people about is from someone who comes from poverty, that you don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to have the knowledge. And that's what Codie's saying. Like if you, like my mom, we were on food stamps growing up, but my mom didn't buy the food that was provided. Obviously she would use her food stamps for vegetables and stuff, and she would make us soup. Like, you know what I mean? Like healthier options and things are not always of access to people that grow up without a lot of money, but it's more so about like utilizing what you have for the best, healthiest, safest decisions. If you have baby showers, then just saying like, you guys buy me diapers, wipes, and then put money in cash. And I'm going to use that towards a doula. But also there's so many programs, and just actually back to what Codie said, doing the research. I think you're such a heavy researcher, and that is something that I think a lot of people just don't do. Like maybe they're not taught to. People don't research if the stuff they see on TV is true or not.
Right.
No, for
you know what I mean? So it's like, you have to see like, there are a lot of government programs that actually provide those things, and women don't even know they have access to it. So like doula care or will pay for this and certain things. So like just making sure that you're doing the research to figure out and find out like how you can, with whatever your financial ability is, try to get the best things to help you have like the best recovery or the easiest recovery or the healthiest options.
YouTube too. I feel like YouTube is a good way to, especially if it's someone that you research and they're a qualified doctor and then they have a channel. A lot of times they're giving out free information. I think people just need to slow down and take the time to actually digest the information and really research it, and not like
be reactive.
There's so many things that we see on Instagram, and it'll be like this, this doctor said this, and they're like, actually that's not what was said here. Like take a moment and
watch
like,
the whole
the
episode.
time.
Don't just look at the
Don't
clips.
look at the clips.
Words.
The clickbait is real.
Right.
Yes.
No.
Oof. That's a really good point.
Do I want to have a third baby, y'all? Shit. I wouldn't mind adopting a child. I was thinking about this recently.
So wait,
That's
you
another
don't want to
conversation.
have a physical baby anymore? Or you
I
may or
go-
may not?
No, I think I probably would.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have a question, and I have a question
sounds
for my
crazy.
own and for the listeners. So, since you had your mommy makeover, did your doctor discuss how it would be to have children after a mommy makeover?
Yeah.
Did you ask?
No.
You didn't ask?
Well, no, he told me. Well, okay, we did discuss it. Sorry, I lied. What it was is when he asked, I was like, nope, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
But he was just like, I recommend you doing this after you're done having children, which I thought I was done having children.
Right.
But he's just like, it just goes away. Like it just opens back up.
It opens back up.
Yeah.
So
Well-
it will
So you would
it will
have to
disrupt
get the
work
surgery again.
Yeah.
to repair it.
I will suggest
A surrogate.
a lot of research. Here's why. Here's
No,
the
low-key.
only reason
I
why.
was thinking about
I
that.
have a good friend who told me about a good friend. So it's not my friend, but I do know her, who had a tummy tuck and then had a baby, and she said it snapped right back.
Oh,
Really?
My point is, there's probably
Ooh.
lots of
I
different
wonder what she did.
examples.
I wonder what she did
Yeah,
to keep
and there's
it.
probably steps that she took. And we can
Oh,
we can have
girl.
her on. I'll call her.
Yeah.
yeah. I wonder if it
I
was
would
just the
love to
tummy
know.
tuck or if it's the diastasis repair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's that part.
Because when you have to repair the muscles inside,
That's
Yeah.
the part.
the mesh or whatever sutures they use to repair your abdominal wall, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Versus getting rid of loose skin and flattening
Yeah.
a tummy and a new belly button and all that. We're talking about
Yeah.
the internal repair
That
Um,
that needs to be done.
That's
which
the
is-
part I'm most
that's the part
concerned
that
about.
stretches.
Well,
Yeah.
I do know that if you get it fully repaired, because I have like ab separation, but mine was like, I think 2 fingers or a finger and a half. I actually helped repair mine while I was pregnant with Tata. So then after I had her, the doctor was like, oh my God, Ashley, like it's like less than what it was prior to me coming in, because I went on YouTube University and I was doing all of those like you have to hold your belly
Yeah.
in. And I literally was in the gym doing them all the time because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want it to get worse. This is my 4th kid, blah, blah, blah. So my ab separation is better now than it was prior to all of my other children. I still have it, but maybe I'm saying that to say like if you get a tummy tuck and you get it repaired, if you're intentional and you're doing like all these
That's what I was
Pilates
thinking.
Yeah.
while you're pregnant, maybe it just isn't as
We
bad.
none of us, not one
I
of
gotta
us,
be
knew
super
what
on it.
diastasis recti was before we had
Girl.
children. So the difference
No,
is if
or
you
the
had another
terminology.
baby.
No.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
even ab separation. Did you know what ab separation?
Yes.
I didn't think about that at all.
I knew
Never.
about it from ballet. Just
Got
like
it.
a lot of different type of injuries and stuff you can get, but like I didn't. Well, obviously I didn't know the name of it, but I knew what's funny. Not funny. I remember like growing up, and like young girls were having babies, and they would be so skinny, and then after they would have their baby, they all had that little like
The coning.
the coning.
Mhm.
And I would be like, oh my God, is that going to happen to me when I have a baby? Like, why does that happen to everybody? And now realizing, looking back, like, damn, all those girls had
Everybody
ab
did.
separation
Yeah.
and they didn't even know it.
I would also like to say for the record, basura, trash, is that men can also get diastasis recti and it is covered by insurance
yeah.
Sure is.
to get repaired.
What?
Deep
Yeah.
basura.
Yes, deep basura. Okay, because
Wait, what?
because
But
it's
not women.
considered
Yeah.
an injury
Yeah.
because if they got it on their job or exercising or doing something, but that is not covered for women, and that is trash. And at some point in this life, I will probably be on the front picket lines to try to get that fixed.
Let's do it, girl.
because that is absolutely ridiculous.
What
What
happens
Start
if
it
I
right.
say,
Like,
Yes, the
women-
mamas then are starting a revolution.
Women literally, this is what our bodies do. We are bringing people into the world. Like,
Yeah.
and that is what happens. That should absolutely be
Yeah,
considered
I
a
agree.
medical procedure
I
to be
agree.
covered, to be repaired.
We
That
got a
just
long
makes me
way to go,
so
girl.
If we
mad.
talk about America, I think I'm just gonna keep getting
I know.
pissed off.
I
I'm gonna
I
get
keep
pissed off.
pivoting, right?
So
I'm like,
like,
it's darkness, but I'm big on like, it
Hello,
is darkness,
darkness,
but what can
my
we
old
do?
friend.
You know?
I'm like, dang.
We could say it's basura.
But my point though was
Trash.
that for most part, we did not know anything about ab separation, diastasis recti. And so now if you did have another baby, at least you go into it with like the
Knowing
knowledge
Yeah, I was
of
like,
like
girl,
what can happen and how
salad,
to address it.
Exercising, I would have
Not
to be
salad.
extremely mindful.
child, baby. I know you and I make big babies. There was nothing that was going to help
There
this
was
ab
nothing
separation.
that was gonna help.
These
But
9,
There was
10 pound
nothing
babies.
that was gonna help.
You can weigh. Do you want to pay for surgery again, or do you want to just use that money and pay for a surrogate?
Yeah, but the
If
person
you're gonna
that
spend
I'm
$20K,
okay, so I would definitely be down, but the person that I'm with,
When you
would
put it
they
like
be
that.
open to that?
maybe if you go into it like, listen, honey, I already had to pay for this body baby.
I know, I'm like,
so if you
And
want
you
another-
like it.
yeah, and you like it. So if you want another baby, we're gonna
wanna
pay
do
for someone else to carry it. Thank you and good night.
No,
Thank
I've
you and
definitely
good
thought
night.
about that.
Okay, well, put it on up there. Look, I'll go on a date with you, and I'll help discuss it.
Okay, and I don't know, maybe
We'll consult.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but how do you would you consider a surrogate
Me?
ever to have another baby?
No, I don't have a reason to.
Ashley wants
But would
all
you-
them babies in her body.
In
So
a,
that's
So
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I would for
I
sure.
feel like I think it makes sense for people that it makes sense for. For me, I don't have a problem getting pregnant. I don't have a problem having babies, and my body still kind of look pretty good after 4 kids. So I feel like I could bust out 1 or 2 more, and I still might be popping. So I just feel like
You will be.
I'm a
certain.
baby making machine. This is from my aunties
You
in
really
Tennessee. Like this is just I must have been one of my ancestors was the ones
They
like
was praying for
yeah
you.
they was just reproducing or something. I come
Ashley,
from-
if you had another baby, you'd probably have twins.
oh my God, that would be so crazy. What if it was boys?
You know?
There's the other thing. I don't want any more kids because, all my daughters are one of each sign. So I'm like, don't be the fifth daughter and be weird and like mess up the flow.
No,
so it would have to be a boy.
Don't
and I
be
don't
the
want a boy.
fifth
So I'm
daughter
good.
and be weird.
But either way, I'm
You had a
saying
boy, that would be
I would not use it. This is my theory. I think medical assistance is great for people that need it. I don't have an issue with it. But for me personally, my own belief.
Want it because we know lots of people who just want it.
It's none of my business.
Yeah.
For me.
None of my business.
Yeah, it's none of my business. For me, I don't want to do anything I don't need to do if I don't need to do it. For you, you had a whole surgery and knowing the risk and stuff. I'm like, that to me is like, makes so much sense to actually consider having a surgery. Because like you had
you
a
gotta
major
spend
And that's
some
the
money
only reason
anyway.
why I thought
Yeah.
about
Some money
doing
anyways.
it.
Yeah, that's like a major surgery.
I like being pregnant. That's the only reason I would.
Oh, see, I don't like
me
that.
too.
I would be
I don't
a
like being
surrogate,
pregnant.
but Tommy told me no.
Oh,
What?
You would be a
Codie, I would
I
have
like
you carry
being
my
pregnant.
baby girl.
Oh my God, Codie would carry your baby so cute.
I know. I was like, Codie, and I'm like, I know you're healthy.
You be so cute when you're pregnant
Wait a
too.
second, really?
I know,
You
I'm
like
like,
being
girl.
pregnant like that?
Yeah, I do.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it because I wasn't around.
Codie,
Not
I'm gonna have.
talking
I'm
about-
gonna
You
have
were around.
You were
No,
around.
not
How
really.
much?
Not
No,
much.
you might be right.
How much do you
like I
want
was
to
around, but I wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
around like this.
No, I mean, I'm cute. Okay.
Okay.
B, like
Better
I'm
love
not.
yourself.
I'm not in like a ton of pain.
Okay.
Right. Like I was nauseous with the twins, but part of that was having a toddler and twins.
Right.
So I'm like, I always describe it as like I'm going up and down and up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah.
I'm picking Brooks up all the time. So I was nauseous a lot with the twins, but like none of the bad outweighed the good.
So you didn't have? Did you have like morning sickness? or,
Never.
like- so here's the thing. I
I
never
ain't
had
threw
morning
up
sickness
at
either.
all.
I was uncomfortable.
But I felt so uncomfortable in my body. Like with Cameron, I put on over 80 pounds. I've shared this. I put on over 80 pounds. So that change from like having no kids to then getting that pregnant
Yeah.
was a shock. But I will tell you what, I felt beautiful throughout
Yeah.
my whole pregnancy with Cameron. And not realizing I was 204 pounds at the end of my pregnancy.
When you
How-
look back, you like, damn.
Damn. But no, but when I tell you, I
Me
felt
too.
hideous with Kaya.
Oh, because she tried to take all your beauty. That's what
But
girls
you
do.
weren't.
You
I
were
know how
beautiful.
you
I was not. I
feel.
was not cute with Kaya. I look back at those pictures and I'm just like, you've had better days. And yeah, no,
I
definitely.
disagree, but it's your body, your
Yeah.
rules.
No, but
Yes.
I did. I just felt so. Even though I put on half the weight with Kaya,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt so uncomfortable in my
Yeah,
body.
it's
Yeah.
that
Like,
girl.
and I never got any. Same. Thank God, because my mom always used to terrify me because my mom would get sick from the. That's how my mom always knew she was pregnant because she would start throwing
Oh,
up
wow.
immediately.
Yeah,
She would
not
throw
I.
up through her whole pregnancies till she had her babies. So I always feared that I was going to inherit that. I did not, thank goodness. So I never had morning sickness. I could generally eat whatever I wanted. I experienced things like sciatica pain, nerve stuff, uncomfortable. Like the belly weight was insane with Kaya because I had, again, no support in my abs. But very different pregnancies about how I felt about my body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, I was like, I am never doing this again.
Aw.
Like, for sure. And then to the point, back to, bring it full circle, my son comes running up to me probably about once a week and is like, Mom, I really want a baby brother. And I'm like, baby, it's not happening.
Girl,
yeah.
mine
Like it's-
talking about a sister. As recently as this morning. Mom, you know what I want for Christmas? A sister.
I want.
What
You
is
know
wrong
how I
with
know
kids?
it's over
Tell
for.
him that,
Why
like,
are
we're a
kids
tribe.
like
No,
that?
I know,
we're a
but
tribe. She
I
got 4.
always feel like maybe you had a daughter in your past life, but I always look at you like, where is your daughter?
I
It
know.
always, it's
She
weird.
gets girl mom.
Yes, like your
I
life
know.
is like
Maybe-
when you
listen,
had Cam,
I would have
knew it
assumed
wasn't
that.
complete. Like I had a vision.
You really did
But
say
also,
that.
where's
Yeah.
your son?
I know it's not
No,
meant to
very
be.
It's not meant to be.
It's
She's
not.
like
No,
very-
I'm not
she's
giving
4
you
daughters.
energy of a son. You give energy definitely of a daughter. I just feel like one day, maybe next year, you guys will just take your egg, his sperm, doop, make a baby.
And have a surrogate?
Yeah.
What is this?
Tommy is so
Tommy
ridiculous.
Oliver is standing
Look at
outside.
Oh, maybe he should come
of
here
the
so I can
mama's
ask him this
den.
question to
Oh,
his
you
face.
You know what?
Tommy
Tommy.
or Tommy?
Come on in, right on time.
Wait.
Tommy,
I'm
we
gonna
have a
tell you.
question.
This is what he's gonna be like. Watch.
What?
He's gonna say.
I'm gonna say how much.
Yeah, no.
I already
he's
know
definitely
the
gonna
answer
say
because
that.
I've asked him this 500 times.
Come on, Tommy.
But go ahead.
On the mic. Come
For
to the
me
mic.
specifically, I need
Over
you to
here.
do for me.
I already
Felicia
know
has a question.
what Tommy's
Tommy,
gonna say.
I have a serious question that could really change my
Come
life
on down.
and your life too for 9 months. Can Codie please be my surrogate?
Are you fucking crazy?
You can't say that.
Yes, he can.
She said he said no. Wait, no, what'd you say? He said
She said he was going to say hell no.
hell no. That's similar.
Codie was saying how much she enjoyed pregnancy, so she
And
was
that
like,
she
she
would
would
be
be
a
a
surrogate.
surrogate.
She
but
needs
you
a
are not
daughter.
down with the
And
get
we
down.
did not know this information.
I did not.
Really?
So
You knew, right?
So wait,
that be
I already
weird?
knew. But would you be open to having a surrogate and having a daughter?
Mm-mm.
Let him answer.
Okay.
He a grown
Would
man.
you be open to that?
What have you three or
Come
four
on, come
Welcome to the
on.
Mama's
been
Den.
drinking
Welcome to
today?
the
Like,
Mama's
it
Den.
is- What is happening?
Water.
We've been drinking Theraflu and coffee.
I'm like, this is how we
It's
talk
a
on radio.
hard
T.
no. It's like,
Oh.
the only person putting any kind of baby in her is me.
Oh.
That part.
Okay.
And
He said,
But what? So
Okay,
what,
but-
you wouldn't be open to someone else carrying y'all's baby? Is it the idea of a surrogate or the idea of just you don't want another baby?
Both.
Would you, girl?
I know him.
I know, but I want to hear it
Look,
from Tommy.
Go ahead.
I want you to have all the kids you want
Oh.
with somebody else. no.
Leave my family out of it.
Leave
Damn
my
it.
family, leave my life, leave my business out of it. We will
Right.
root and
We will
This
show up.
is
We'll
mine.
show up
side.
to, we'll show up
This
to the
is
baby
mine.
shower, girl.
Wait,
Look,
but
why are you
we'll
trying
send
to
a
take
gift.
my wife
No,
away?
no,
and she's gonna
no,
be
this is not a
tired
real
and-
thing.
And then we wouldn't even have another kid
would be
out of
tired.
like no.
Oh, I get it.
There's zero.
He's like, I
upside.
need a return
There's
on my
zero
investment.
Let's
There's
take-
no,
that's very
there's
true.
no
Let's
ROI.
take the surrogacy of her being a surrogate away, and more so, would you? If for you, is it you wouldn't use a surrogate? You don't want another baby, or do you see what I'm saying?
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were not supposed to have 3 kids.
Not
No,
supposed to.
we were obviously. You were not trying.
You
to
got a
have
2 for
3
1
kids.
special.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, there's no number 4. That's
Got
not
it.
happening.
Okay.
And also, if we were gonna do it, we would do it.
Oh, we gonna do it.
Yes.
Oh.
What?
Well, y'all can still
Ashley,
do it.
you
Why
can-
you all?
No,
I
I'm
mean-
saying we ain't gonna do
Oh, yeah,
4
yes, that.
kids. We're not gonna do that.
Okay.
Ashley, you got it.
Ashley
I-
got
I-
it.
I got
I
it.
knew you enjoy pregnancy this much.
She likes being
I
pregnant.
feel like
I
I'm
do.
like Mel.
I honestly,
Yeah, no.
yes, I definitely
Yeah,
like
I'm
being
like-
pregnant. I definitely feel cute. I feel like everything fits cuter. Like it's just
Oh,
like
God, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
We are
She's so
complete
cute
Guys,
pregnant.
I do not
Oh
have
my
boobs
God.
in real life. And I've always had like a little pooch. So to fill that out and to put on
That
like,
part
tight
is fun.
dresses,
You like, oh, I guess I let it
a
go.
dream.
I like, woo.
I can't lie. That's how I felt with Kai. I was like,
And-
woo,
You like,
at the
and
beginning.
I don't have any sickness.
Until she took
7
off.
weeks
A
in.
dream.
Looking like a whole 6 months pregnant.
I love being pregnant too. I never gained. I only gained 20 pounds every time I'm
Yeah,
pregnant.
no.
That's
We some big girls.
We're going to roll the tape
I'm definitely
about
a
how you felt
40
about
pounder.
pregnancy because that is not true.
Listen, I was sick. The last 2, I was sick for 5 months, but like, I
Do
still
we not
love
remember
being
when Ashley would
pregnant.
complain
5 months?
every single day?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
pregnant.
absolutely.
I mean,
You
I
were
was very
miserable.
sick, but then I wasn't.
See, that's how you get pregnant.
I
because
get
you
si-
forget.
I get super
You
sick.
forget how miserable you were. We would call each other because our babies are a
You
month
do
apart.
forget.
We would call each other every day and be like, "Girl." You just be like, I hate every day.
Yeah.
It's just the worst.
I was sewing
And
up
I
for
have 3
5
kids.
months, but then
Yeah.
after it, I loved it.
Hilarious.
I'll get pregnant again right now.
Girl,
Chia will get me
goodbye.
pregnant.
We know.
Good.
We
With
know.
who though?
Not Chia.
Not-
Well, we
not
still
Chia.
we got 10
It can
more.
be reversed.
We got 10 more
It can be reversed.
ejaculations.
Girl, you said that a month
We
ago.
haven't been doing it a lot because I've been tired.
Girl, that's not what you said
It's
last
real.
week.
Yeah.
No,
literally.
we haven't been doing it a lot enough for him
Oh.
to get. You have to do like 30
I
ejaculations.
Do you know this?
It's-
After
look,
a
I did it 4
vasectomy, you have
times
a
a
certain
day.
It's
number of
17 times.
ejaculations.
He
Or
knew.
still- I didn't
He
know
knew what he was doing when he was doing it to you, girl. He knew.
Wait, you had a vasectomy too?
He was like the first, I think.
Yeah.
That was like
What do
my.
you think?
You know
I-
what?
listen,
I really love when men do that.
When men
do it.
men are like,
You a real one.
I'm down with the get down. I applaud.
Me
I
too.
feel like
real.
there was such a stigma for men.
Oh, it's
No,
a
I think-
huge.
I
I
just
know a
learned this
lot
last
of men
week.
who will not. They
You're not gonna cut off
No,
my. It's like,
because they're
what are
dumb.
you
I'm like, have
Because
you
they're
even been
dumb.
to a consultation?
Yeah.
I feel like it's the dumbest
Yeah,
thing when they're
that
like,
part.
"That's my manhood," and I'm like, "Are
Is it really?
You're not cutting your
Girl.
dick off, you
Right.
idiot.
Give you a
Like,
whole
what is
baby. You better
happening?
go in
Right?
there, snip, snip.
And you
Yes.
really think that after everything your wife or woman has been through,
Girl.
after all that, you want to go back for another surgery to have her tubes tied? What do
Listen.
you think this is? 1992?
Vasectomy
No.
men are top tier elite men. That's like top tier elite
Listen,
men.
if a
love.
man,
men.
Vasectomy men.
Listen, I know,
timing.
I know a guy who literally had his vasectomy the day after so him and his wife had babies, got pregnant. It was twins. He planned his vasectomy the day after the
He said,
babies were
yeah,
born. He
nah.
was
Yeah.
like,
He
"We're
said,
done.
yeah,
we got
nah.
twins
Tomorrow."
He's like, "We got twins." Like, and he's like the president of the vasectomy board. He's
Yeah.
like, "I will talk to any man who has questions about it.
That's wild
I am
to me.
team vasectomy. We don't want no more kids. We
Yeah.
got 2 for 1, and we're good."
Yeah.
And I support it. And I think that all men, if you and your wife or your partner have decided, I don't want to have no more kids, take a consultation, please.
You know what? The only weird thing
Yeah.
about it is I was like, dang, Chia, you could really just be cheating on me, skeeting and everybody.
You know
out
what?
Here.
Oh my
You know
God.
what though?
And you know, have to worry about getting nobody
Yeah, but
pregnant.
let me
That's
tell
the
you-
only downside.
you know
of
what?
This,
Is that
like,
a downside,
no, but-
Ashley? That's what you're
No,
worried
but I
about?
thought
It
about
is.
this. I had thought about this too,
Girl.
because I'd be like, you know what? It's one thing if you can get over infidelity, but when another child comes into the picture,
Yeah.
that's for life.
Girl.
So
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
a
just a
cheater,
win. It's a
baby.
win.
I'm
all
not.
around.
It's a listen. I'm not condoning any extracurricular activities.
But if you
in
plan
your
on cheating
marriage.
on your wife,
But I'm saying, at least you ain't got to
Then
worry
get
about
a
raising
vasectomy.
nobody's kids. Nobody else
Be
is showing up being like,
respectful.
we had a baby together. What?
wait, that's the commercial. Be a respectful cheater. Get a vasectomy.
Oh my God.
You'll never have to worry about anyone knocking on your
I'm
door.
Dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Women to women.
Women to
Like, girl,
be a
no.
be a real girl's girl. Make sure he gets a vasectomy. Damn, that's trash. We're trash.
That is like an SNL skit.
It is.
Word.
That is.
Word.
Sounds like an SNL skit.
That is hilarious.
But anyways, I don't even know how long we've been talking about this.
I don't know,
It's probably
long
time to
time.
wrap it
perfect
up.
amount of time.
A
to be
perfect
honest.
amount of time.
Tommy, would
Well-
you like to wrap up the Mama's
Wrap
Den?
up the Mama's
Oh,
Den. We
yes.
started with botched plastic surgery. We went into women and pregnancy recovery, surrogacy, and
The medical field in general.
vasectomies being being able to cheat on your wife
I'm not-
the best way.
I mean, that was
Don't
the
quote me. Don't
secondary.
quote me. Don't
That was
quote
the
me. Right back.
secondary.
Just
part.
Yeah. Go ahead,
You know
delete
what I
that part.
No, leave
Cheat
it in
with a
there.
peace of mind.
Cheat with a
Cheating
piece.
with peace of mind.
Get a vasectomy.
Oh
On a billboard.
Damn, I'm not promoting this at all.
I think you are.
No, I'm
You
not.
want to cheat
Wrap
with
us
peace of
up.
mind?
Listen, my
the
dad
Mama's
should have
Den.
got one. That's how I'm here. He should have been cheating with a piece
Oh
of
my
mind.
word.
Well, we're all happy he did.
We're all happy.
Thank you.
We're all happy.
You said we're all happy you made it? What
He
did you say?
didn't, girl.
Oh, I thought you said we're all happy you made it.
Tommy,
I'm like, wait,
in the
what?
episode, child.
Take us out.
And that has been the Mama's Den.